This yellow thing right here, this is your sciatic nerve, and this is what's been bothering you while you were sleeping. As you can see over here where the muscles are, the sciatic nerve goes right through the piriformis muscle, which is a muscle that's deep in your glute. This is the back of your body. It's your tailbone, your pelvis. Deep in your glute is this piriformis muscle. And some people, the sciatic nerve goes right through the piriformis muscle. So if you're experiencing sciatica, it's likely that it's a result of this muscle pushing on the nerve. Sometimes it can also come from the spine as well if you have some issues with arthritis or a disc problem. Now, the reason why this muscle gets tight is because there's tension in the front of the hip. Very typically, the psoas and the iliacus muscle in the front are pulling the pelvis forward, which is playing tug of war with these muscles, which is why they tighten up and become tight. So ultimately, what you want to do is release the tension in the front of the hip using tools like the hip flexor release ball or the hip hook. And then that tension released will allow this muscle to relax. Similarly, you can use this ball on the back of the hip to release tension there. So doing those muscle release techniques, which I talk about quite a bit, are very useful prior to going to bed to set the stage for you to have a good sleeping position. Then, there are certain positions that will kind of take the slack off of the nerve and this particular muscle as it's in the process of healing. So I'm going to go through that right now. If you're lying on your back in bed and your legs are completely straight, like this, your hip flexor, if it's tight, will be pulling a little bit on your spine. So that's why putting a pillow under your knees like this can be really useful. Even 2 pillows to bring it up a little bit more will help take the slack off of your hip flexor complex, which will help not irritate the sciatic nerve and that piriformis muscle we just talked about. So a lot of people do have trouble when they're lying flat, so using a pillow under their knees is useful. Another thing that people can do if it's coming from your spine is taking a towel roll, and placing that under your lower back while you're sleeping, because this will help put your spine in a neutral alignment. This is really for people who have a very soft mattress or are having issues with discs. This is really the best technique for that type of situation. And similarly, if you have a towel roll and you roll over to your side, it helps keep that spine in a neutral position, because if you don't have this underneath you, your back kind of curves down, and especially if you have a soft mattress, then your spine will become out of alignment a bit. In addition, you see me as I'm lying on my side, I've got my knees bent, and this is an important position if you do lie on your side, having your knees bent, because again, that takes that hip flexor muscle and puts it on slack. If your legs are straight or more straight, it's kind of stretched, and that's going to pull on your back. But if your knees are a bit bent, that will help take some of the pressure off there. And in addition, having a second pillow that you put between your knees and your ankles, so not just your knees, but your knees and your ankles, will help keep your pelvis in good alignment, which again will help take some of the strain off of that area. This oftentimes, lying on your side with a pillow under your knees and your knees bent up, is typically a favorite position for people who are experiencing sciatica. The other thing that I will mention too is that when you have sciatica, that muscle in the back, that piriformis muscle, is typically tight, and same with your iliacus, which is going to make your leg want to roll out to the side while you're sleeping. And this motion out to the side oftentimes can be irritating for people that have sciatic nerve problems. So if you do find it more comfortable to lie on your side, what can help is to put a pillow under your knee so that your leg doesn't roll out as far. So something like this can feel good, or even with your legs straight, helping to support that leg from rolling all the way out to the side. That will sometimes take some of the pressure off of the sciatic nerve. So play around with these techniques because everyone has a slightly different reason for why they're experiencing sciatica. One of these techniques might work really good for you where the other one wouldn't. And if you have any additional questions, please feel free to reach out. I'm happy to help.